Hello humans, I'm Batsy, and today we going to be taking part in the Town Wars event. To be honest, I didn't really thought on a title for it, but we basically have groups of 3 people that will work together to build a cool town. We have been given some basic supplies so we don't start with literally nothing. There is the green backpack which seems like Hulk has already been using a bit of it over there. This isn't exactly what it used to be here, since Hulk has been playing for a while, but is basically a few basic things to jumpstart each group a little bit. We still going to have to grind through the create mod, but this should make things faster. We also have the black packs which are basically gear for each person. All of them are decently enchanted, but of course, they are still iron items so we might still want to get diamond gear eventually. While I organize myself and get started, let me explain a couple of things and also my plan for the town. I guess the most obvious question is, why give gear? Why not let people use their normal gear, or just start from zero? Well, the first reason is that I wanted to level the playfield as much as possible. If someone has ultra-maxed gear with enchants, and someone else barely has diamond gear, sure, they both will be fine, but one will clearly have an advantage. There is also the reason that I kinda wanted to start from zero, and see how far each group makes it. This leads to the other half of the question, why not genuinely start from zero? And this one is rather simple, because I don't want people who don't play 24/7 to get stuck with bad items for the longest time, and not be able to actually build anything in the town. This way we all start with the same, it's enough help, so realistically, people don't really need to improve the gear through the entire event, but there is still the option to improve it if we want to. That out of the way, what's my plan for this event? Well, I have this really cool idea for a tunnel bore. If you remember last season, I made a tunnel bore that ended up farming an entire double chest of ancient debris, which later I threw it all away to make a monument. Leaving aside my lack of judgment, the tunnel bore was a massive success to be honest, it was ridiculously fast. But it had a couple of issues, and since then, I had it in the back of my mind, always theorizing how could it be improved. I think I came up with a couple of ideas that could make it substantially better, and maybe even easy enough to make it a schematic for you all. So, what has that to do with the towns? My idea is to make a tunnel bore, and kinda be the miner of the group, or something along those lines. I'm thinking about building a cool mine entrance, maybe a processing plant for the ores, and stuff like that. I'm not sure if we ever going to need that many ores, to be honest, it's likely that the tunnel bore will end up being a massive overkill, but I think it will be a cool project to do if nothing else. I tell you what though, I'm getting a ridiculous amount of copper. I wonder how viable would it be to just use copper to build the town. There is a decent amount of copper variants in this mod pack. And to be honest, maybe even the dripstone, there is tons of it in here, and it's super easy to farm, it's just slow to get in bulk. We thought about using mud bricks to build the town, because that's something easy to farm, and we want to go simple. So maybe dripstone it's not that bad of an idea to be fair. Day 2. Looks like Hulk has been busy with create, we seem to have some basic machines going on. This is nice, I like it. I mean it's basic, but that's all we need for now. I think I will be dumping all my ores into the crushers, and let it process in the back while I work on that mine I mentioned before. At least I should draw the main idea. This wall right here, I think this is going to be perfect for my project. The mine entrance should be easy, it's just a hole in the wall. The right side might be good for the processing plant. And the left side maybe for some quarters, like some sort of mining supplies or something like that. I kinda like this idea. Yeah, I like this a lot. Maybe it could be connected to a main road up here for like carriages and stuff, that could be interesting. What are these? Well, aren't you two adorable? Okay, I'm getting distracted, so the mines, entrance of the mine, that should be easy. Processing plant here, which I might just hide this entrance on the same building. And over to this side, maybe the mining supplies will be inside of the wall. If I move the entrance a bit deeper into the wall, I can probably fit a side door for this section. Alright, let me mine a few blocks, and see if my idea makes sense. This is kind of what I have in mind, but it's not quite there. Yes, now we are talking, look at that. This is exactly what I had in mind, looks perfect. Let's see, how are the ores doing so far? Oh my goodness me, that's already a lot of copper. But there should be a ton. Oh, I see. It's just incredibly slow. I see why the hand crank is here. Hulk probably was helping the system manually. Oh well, that should be fine, we can leave that be in the background. I'm pretty sure this was working like a second ago, did I break it? Oh, look, the cogwheel. I see what happened. This is already running at max speed. I broke it when I sped up the system. Let's pretend that nothing happened. I need to do some chores and other things, so I will leave this AFK for a little bit while the ore gets processed, and I think I might start to check on that tunnel bore after that. Day 3. Alright, I have a few updates. It took quite a long time, especially because we washed up all of the ores, but everything has been processed. I think that this is a really good start. Having a good amount of iron is crucial for early create machines. There is also the problem of the copper. We ended up with a ton of blocks. It might not look like much, but this is basically 3 double chests full of copper tiles. I will be real with you all, I'm not sure we gonna need that many copper roofs to be honest. We also came across the problem that washing ores gives a ton of nuggets that you need to craft into ingots. We did this temporary machine to help a bit, but we simply ended up crafting by hand most of it. By that I mean to say that, we really need that processing plant up and running very soon. Leaving the copper mess aside, I haven't progressed much further with the mine. I have mined a bit of a slope here to more or less see what I'm working with, which could use a little bit more light. That's better. The mining supplies are still as empty as they were before. I think I'm going to do the interior for last. Either way, that will be something to deal with later on, or maybe tomorrow. Right now, I think I will go back to the mines, and see if I can get us some diamonds. I'm going to need plenty of them to make the tunnel bore, so I better get started with it. Day 4. Well, I tell you what, mining diamonds turned out to be a complete fail. I mean, sure, I got a decent amount of stuff, this will be more than enough to get us started. But it was incredibly boring, strip mining wasn't productive at all, and then I went to clear some caves, and it was as unfun as the rest. To be honest, I'm not sure if I was unfortunate, or that I'm so used to mine underwater, that I forgot how bad it was to do normal mining. I could probably try to go mining on a sea nearby. This one is not too far north to be fair. The left side might even be close, and this is fairly big too. But there is people making a town right here, so it would be a bit obnoxious if I went to mine right in their faces. There is also the point I think we should use what the land offers us. It wouldn't make a whole lot of sense to walk 500 blocks to mine some ores. I think I'm going to discard the idea of the tunnel bore for now. I don't have enough diamonds for it, and I haven't even tested the design. Plus, I still need to edit this video and everything. So it's decided, I'm going to farm a bit of mud, and start with the actual build already. What the hell am I looking at? Are they going to eat the lion alive? Okay, I have no idea what the dude did, but it looks like it was really bad. Batsy, cue the time-lapse before I get distracted with something else. Day 5. It is complete, well, the first part of it anyway. Before showing you all the build, a couple of things happened since the time-lapse. We had a zombie visitor that we were able to cure, who is now our lovely slave. The guy was walking around at night through the town. I thought it would be useful to get mending books. Hulk was also able to trigger a raid farm with him, which gave us some lovely totems. I hope we don't die, but it's always nice to have a second chance. The villager is also pretty sick, not only gave mending super fast, it's also selling bookshelves and buying spare books. That will be ideal to generate emeralds. I have been making use of the hero of the village buff to buy as many mending as I can, because he is about to get pricey in a moment. Which, I should probably get some more. We need to gear up 3 people with them. But that's not all, there are more surprises down in the mines. Right when Hulk triggered the raid, we spotted another villager in here, so I rushed to secure it for later. I should probably light this up, it will be impossible to move with this many mobs in here. Jeez Louise, what a mess I'm creating. Did that creeper just drop me an emerald and iron? There is another one. Ah, dang it, that one blew up. Well, let's put that thought aside for a second. This is what I wanted to show you all. It already has a name tag and everything, so it's just a matter of bringing it to the surface. For now, he will be safe in here. At least until we figure out how to even move it out. Oh wait, there we go, that's the easy way out. Now, can I find another one of those creepers and find out what they actually drop? Okay, I don't see any more of those, let's leave that aside for a moment. We don't really need to waste time building a mob farm right now. Ah see, that's what I was fearing, with the hero of the village gone, it's back to bad prices, we will have to convert them another time or two. Now yes, let's have a look at what I've made. It took a bit to get fully oxidized, but I think it's looking fantastic. And like I said before, going for something simple and easy to build, which is important for the time constraint we have. Something that I thought when I was done is that I have been using spruce in here. I think that using acacia could be an option for a brighter contrast. It makes no sense right now, but back when the roof was bright orange copper, it's a very similar tone to the acacia, and maybe that could look cool, potentially. I don't mind the current oxidized color, but I kinda don't love it either. This side is super simple for now, but the main reason is that I want to place the machines against the wall, so we have room to walk and everything. It might leave this side a bit bland, but I might just raise a chimney or something like that. But that's a problem for future Batsy. Then at the front we have a normal door, which is mostly for looks. And a bigger entrance to represent something like a garage door, I guess, not sure how that would be called. In my mind, this is where the carriages and stuff would park to pick up the ores from the mines and whatnot. Maybe the loading entrance of sorts, that's what it's probably called. The idea is to continue this road forward and potentially make it the main road of the town, where carriages will come and go to pick up the ores and deliver them elsewhere. The other part of it is the rails, which they have an actual purpose for the mines. Actually, before that, I guess let me explain what I have been doing with the tunnel itself. I ended up going for a thinner arc that leaves a higher roof. I didn't want the first entrance to be too tight and narrow. I wanted it to look more fancy and cool, especially since Hulk's character is taller than normal, and for them, it would feel claustrophobic almost, if I did it any shorter. I do like how it looks though, maybe it's a bit more fancy than it should be, but because it's mud and spruce, it's still quite rustic in a way. But the rails, why are they any useful, other than to make it look neat? My idea is that we want to move the ores into the processing plant. So I want to have one line that goes up with ores to get processed. And after all of the magic happens, then the cart will go back into the mine to get more ores. Now where are these ores coming from? Well, my idea is to first have some sort of elevator in here, a lift of sorts. That's so we can go down into the mines to do our stuff. I'm thinking on adding a couple of stops in case we want to mine stone, or down at the bedrock level. In those levels, I also want to use the tunnel bore I mentioned before that I wanted to build. So my idea for that is, I could have a way to unload the contraption, and simply move the items upwards with a bubble column or something. I will have to figure out a system to make a cart station so it can pick up all of those items, but that should be fairly easy to build, and it's also a problem for future 𝐋𝐢𝐬𝐬. It's not particularly efficient, but I think it's going to look super cool, and I mean, it's still functional. The only thing that I'm not super sold on is the color of the tunnel itself. I really like the combination of mud, with the acacia, the spruce details, the granite and bricks on the floor and ceiling. All of that looks fantastic, but it kinda doesn't look like. I don't know how to say it, I guess if it was stone, it would look more dense, more solid maybe. Basically that it looks like the tunnel won't fall apart right away. While the mud looks super cool, but it looks like it might crumble at any point, or maybe it looks like a cheap tunnel in a way. Again, I still love how it looks right now, and as a fantasy setting that doesn't need to look realistic, I think it's a nice tunnel. I could potentially use more dripstone and granite for the walls, instead of so much mud. I wouldn't mind some suggestions in the comments below, and while you are at it, maybe some suggestions on what to do in this room. I have the idea of being the miners' quarters, or the miners' supplies or something, but all I can think of is just making a warehouse with tons of barrels. We could also use some suggestions for the town name. We are kind of in a valley in the mountains, with some sort of mine going on. That could be the theme of the town. People moved here to work in the mines, and they stayed because the land was rich and prosperous or something. I would love ideas for a cool name for it. But with that said, this will have to be it for this episode. It was a bit all over the place at first, but now I'm focused and determined. I have a solid plan for next time. Unless I just change of mind and do something entirely different like with half of my episodes.